Movie footage used on the podcast is used for fair use. Nightmare Talkers makes no claims or ownership and only uses the footage for commentary and entertainment purposes. Please support the film and the art of filmmaking by watching Five Nights at Freddy's on home media or wherever you can watch the movie. Enjoy the episode.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Why are we doing this?
Welcome back.
You watch video, we give
We're
you
about to
dumb
make
stuff.
the podcast of the century.
Trade offer. You click like and subscribe, we give you more dumb videos.
Yes, I'll take that deal. Sold.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 9. Crazy. And it's your boy or person, whatever. It's whatever.
You're cryptid.
Yeah, you're cryptid. It's Smiley with no face because I'm not wearing a mask because I was dying in the last one. So it's just blurred out. And
It's Grace.
look at that. Anyways.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, it's been an interesting week for me. Work stuff and hanging out with the boys and all that stuff. So I did go see the house that Napoleon Dynamite was filmed at.
Yeah,
And
saw
the
that.
school.
I'm
and
very
Petra's
jealous.
house. And so here's like an image of me outside of the house wearing my mask. Good thing it was out in the middle of nowhere. It was out in the middle of nowhere in that town. You can look it up where it's at. But yeah, we decided it was the first day of spring break, so you know what we were gonna do? We were gonna go see the Napoleon Dynamite house, and then my friend.
You might as well.
You know, like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
Yeah, we'll even have this in here. My friend decided to recreate the scene where Napoleon crashes on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have that popping up on the screen, but like he just runs, and then he just like he commits, he falls completely down onto the ground.
He
and
went
gets up
for
and
it.
kick. He 100% committed for it. Anyways,
He did. Props to him.
oh yeah. Anyways, so what's today's movie?
It is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Whoa, it's our first PG-13 movie on the podcast. Which, fun fact, it was supposed to be rated R at first because it was going to be more grotesque and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
I liked the movie.
I saw it when it came out in theaters.
Yeah.
I thought they did well with it.
And now there were more going off the book series that we'll have on screen. He'll make it look a little magical thing with my fingers dragging the books onto the screen. Anyways, yeah, so it's more based on the book series than it was like on the games. Like, yeah, there were like lots of things of the games that were in there, like designs and things like that. But do you know the actual origins of Five Nights at Freddy's?
I do not. I don't know much about the lore.
Oh,
I've played like one of the games.
We're gonna go
and
down a
I've
rabbit hole.
looked at the books.
We're about to go down a rabbit hole.
Call me Alice then. Let's go.
It's just a theory, a game theory.
That's just a theory. A game theory.
Half of his videos on that channel is just FNAF. Anyway, so the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, his name was Scott Coffin, right?
Yep.
Before he made Five Nights at Freddy's, he used to make a bunch of Christian games, but they weren't selling at all. I know, it's weird, right?
I wonder why. Yeah, imagine that.
It's just the drastic difference between like the lore behind Five Nights at Freddy's and then like he was making Christian games. But anyways, he made Five Nights at Freddy's because like the Christian games weren't doing really well, and everyone kept saying they just look like creepy animatronic monster things.
Mm-hmm.
And so he created that, and he decided to do it in a children's pizzeria using animatronics, because there was an incident, and trigger warning, I guess, incident that happened. I don't know exactly when. We'll have it up on the screen, the year it happened. But a ex-employee, like a former employee, went postal in a Chuck E. Cheese, and he killed 5 people in the Chuck E. Cheese.
Like the customers or coworkers or
all
anybody?
All coworkers, including the general manager of that Chuck E. Cheese. He went and it killed every single one of them. And then he committed suicide at the end of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a murder suicide.
Talk about a bad day at work.
Yeah, and so Scott kind of did that and implicated that into the games, but obviously it's like a night and day difference with the games comparatively to that. It's actually worse in the games because we're going to focus more on the first game because it's the first movie, first game. There was an incident in the game or 1987 or 85 where children went missing from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. They went missing, and no one knew what happened to the bodies. Turns out they were stuffed inside the animatronics. Children's bodies were stuffed inside the animatronics, and so then they possessed the animatronics, and so they were killed by a guy named William Afton. And there are 5 animatronics in the game. Again from the Chuck E. Cheese thing. You have. You have Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, and then Golden Freddy.
Yes.
And then you're playing as a security guard, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to survive till 6 a.m. And in the game, it says that they have like a protocol that nothing can, like no animatronic can have that's not in an exosuit must be fitted into a Fazbear suit. And so if you die, you'll see on there, we'll have the image on screen and we'll enhance it. You'll see a pair of eyeballs sticking out of the suit. Again, that's how you die, and then obviously you win by surviving all 6 nights.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. Anyways, and you play as this guard, Mike Schmidt, who is there, trying to survive and making sure no one gets in there. You have the phone guy who gets in there and tells you different things. On night 4, is it 4 or 5, he actually gets attacked by Golden Freddy. Like, you hear it on the phone, like him getting killed by it. And then, like, Five Nights at Freddy's, the lore behind it is insane. I have played every single one of those games.
I've played the
all of them.
4th one.
I've played. My favorite one is actually Sister Location, which is the 5th one.
Okay.
Because that gives you more options, like gameplay options. Because the first 4 are just like the first one, where you're standing still and you're in one place, and you gotta, check the monitors, check the hallways, and things like that. Make sure nothing gets in. Same thing in the 4th one, except those are nightmare animatronics. Are not real. Again, more lore implication. They're not real. And so, but it's something that was made to keep William Afton's kids inside the house while he was away killing other kids. He never hurt his own. He would never hurt his own kids on purpose. But his son got killed by getting bitten by Golden Freddy because his older brother Mike put him inside the mouth of the animatronic. And the thing is, those animatronics were called spring locks and very faulty. And so the kid was in there freaking out, and then the jaw crushed the kid's head. The other one, and
Wish.
you find this out in the fifth one. He has a daughter, Elizabeth, that got too close to one of the animatronics because he built other animatronics to capture kids. Like the middle part will come out and it'll just scoop them and put them inside the animatronics. And so it wouldn't necessarily kill them right then and there, but it could have possibly done that. And so, yeah, that whole franchise is just like it is a rabbit hole.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. One of my friends.
Go ahead.
One of my friends, we had some free time in, must have been like 9th grade, I think. And you know those like crappy school Chromebooks? We had played, he was like, "Have you ever play horror games? Like, I know you like horror." And I'm like, "Yeah. I've seen like playthroughs done. I've never actually played one myself." And it was like, "You want to play one now? We got like 20 minutes." And he pulls out his crappy school Chromebook and he goes, "Five Nights at Freddy's. Which one do you want to start with? Like, which one? Do you know anything?" And I was like, "Pick a number. There's like 5 million of them. Pick one." And I'm pretty sure it was the 4th one. It's like they're in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which I thought it was fun.
Yeah, no, those are all fun games. Like the jump scares have definitely improved since then, since the first one. So
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, just like this one, or like that, or like this, or this, or this. Sorry. No, anyways, after that, Idiocracy, and so obviously the franchise got big enough to where they made a movie out of it. And also there's several books. I think there's more books than games now of Five Nights at Freddy's. And so because you have the Silver Eyes trilogy, where like are full-fledged books that Scott Coffin wrote, and they got New York Times bestseller list. And then you have a bunch of the other ones that he made. They're like little comics, like short stories.
Yeah.
Of those as well. And so there's lots of different things that they pulled out of every single one. They pulled into and putting it into the movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of just want to start talking about it, do you want to pull?
Yeah. I don't know. We tried watching this on a Discord watch party, and I could hear the audio, and I'm like, something's not right here, because I had seen it in theaters, and I was like, this is not how I remember it, because it wasn't like, I was watching it as just a black screen, whereas when I saw it in theaters, there was like the security guard before Mike shows up, his death scene, and like he messed up, but that's how the movie opens. And
Which
then eventually we get to know Mike.
Gnarly way of he died too, because they like locked him up in like a Freddy chair, and then just slowly put a mask that kills you.
The mask would just like slowly came forward,
And then in the original, before they made it PG-13, originally you saw the face being torn up.
Oh wow!
It was gonna be like almost at Terrifier 1 levels of gore in the movie, but being that a lot of kids love the games and stuff like that, they didn't want to make it too messed up. Which, first of all, it's just like kids enjoying a game about a child murderer. There's something wrong with the parents.
Something that don't add up there, yeah.
Something doesn't add up there. Anyway, so you continue. Sorry. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. I do want to point out as well, they kept some gore in. which I appreciated because like it's a horror game or movie. Um, yeah, I mean, we get to know Mike and it's his sister, his little sister.
Yeah. And then if you're
Um,
also a fan of the franchise, there's tons of Easter eggs just in that first scene that you meet Mike.
mhm.
The rainbows are from FNAF World, which is a bad game, but comparatively to other games that came out with it, is not that bad.
Right.
Anyways, continue. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Please don't kill me.
um, if brain will load.
Brain needs to brain.
It does. You know, you get put on the spot for something, and all of a sudden, everything you know just flies out the window.
Yeah.
Try and ask me one scene in the movie right now.
The
I
lawyer.
couldn't tell you.
Good old Doug, the lawyer, who was traumatized by the ant. And it became like a huge meme. He never got his appetizers, and then like I think a few months after the movie was out and things like that, he posted a TikTok of him eating mozzarella sticks, and he said he finally got his appetizers. And Matt Pat was in that scene too. He was the
Good
waiter.
old Matt Pat.
He was the waiter.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, before we get to all of that, I know like it starts out when we first meet Mike that he is talking to a career coach, and he got fired from the last job because he beat up what he thought was a kidnapper. Turns out it was just a dad, and the kid was just being a kid. And so he beat up the dad, thinking that, he was thinking that he was trying to kidnap a kid. Because you learn that he has trauma from that because his younger brother was kidnapped when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And
on his watch too.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you later find out who kidnapped him, but that's a whole nother thing. And so he's talking to the career counselor, coach, person, thing, whatever it's called.
Played by Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
Our boy.
Did you hear that they got the guy for Stu Marker to come back for the second one as Henry Emily?
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's talking to him, and he sees the name on there, and he's just like, huh. It pauses because he recognizes that name from somewhere, right? Has no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, look, I got this place. It's an old pizzeria. It's been shut down, and they just need a security guy watching it overnight, making sure nothing happens to it. It's all you need. But it's night shift, and he's like, nights? Ooh.
I can't do nights.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing for my job. I work nights.
Yeah.
In an ice cream factory. I actually got a free tub of ice cream just chilling inside my freezer right now.
Yeah, you sent a photo of it, and I'm very jealous because it sounded like a delicious flavor, and I'm gonna be mad about this for a while.
Now, the thing is, I don't eat a lot of ice cream, so I'm actually giving it to my friend.
Diabolical.
I can't ship it to you. I have nothing to keep it frozen.
I will teleport to your house and just sit on your kitchen floor and just eat it.
Just straight out of the tub?
Just straight out of the tub, yeah.
Getting way off topic here. So anyways, I think after that, they meet with a school teacher because introduced the lawyer and his aunt's trying to get his sister, but not for the right reasons of getting his sister. She just wants the monthly check that comes in, and so she's trying to do anything and everything to make sure that she can get her niece, right?
she can get that money.
Yeah. And poor Doug, you just see him, he's just like,
Doug is the epitome of I do not get paid enough for this.
oh, 100%, 100%. I got the grin face going on. You guys can't see it, but she can.
It's 7 out of 10. There you go.
This hurts my face.
Yeah. Yeah, they had met with like the I don't know if it was the teacher or maybe the principal. And the aunt is just saying like all this stuff of like, she just sits in the corner and draws photos. Like she doesn't socialize. She's just saying whatever she can, right?
She's describing my childhood.
For real. Was never that much of an artist though. So the rest of it was accurate.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah, and the principal, or not the principal, the our boy Doug over here, is just actively like shaking as he hands papers. I don't remember if he gave them to Mike or he like pulled them out of his briefcase. He was just shaking like a leaf.
He gave them to Mike.
Okay, yeah. I knew there were papers and I knew he was shaking.
Because she was like, just bring her over or we'll just fight for custody.
Mm-hmm. And then, they leave the school and like it cuts to Mike and his sister like at their house. And Mike is like at first unsure of like the security guard position because someone has to be there with his sister, which is why he can't work nights, because like he's got a babysitter, but like she can't be there 24/7,
Yeah.
So he was on the fence about taking the security guard job, and then he picks up like the job coach's business card and is like, yeah, gotta suck it up and dials.
It's because of the fact that the aunt was fighting for custody, was going to fight for custody, and she was going to say she has a job and has a stable household and stuff like that, and a judge would be in more of her favor than his.
Right.
So, anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, he calls up the coach and he's like, yep, where to go. Coach is like, it's kind of a weird job, but just hang in there. Get through the night, you'll be good.
Just watches the security cameras.
Mm-hmm. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. And then eventually Mike falls asleep because he's taking sleeping pills on the job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the fact that he's trying to go back to the time where his brother got kidnapped.
He's trying to go back to that memory.
You see that like a few times before that, and then you see it again and he's there. And then all of a sudden you start seeing kids, like 5 other kids pop up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's never seen before, but he's kind of going through it. And, as someone from the franchise, and you can kind of tell who all those kids were, like what animatronic they were possessing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had like the bunny ears was Bonnie, the girl was Chica, the guy with the top hat was Freddy, the one with the hook was Foxy, and the one in the front that was the leader was Golden Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, yeah, continue. Yeah.
Yeah. He and there. I don't remember if it was at this point the cop showed up.
No, that's way after. I think it was like
okay.
It's the next day.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember what happens next, so if you wanna.
So
take it from here.
What happens next after that is so he gets home, babysitter leaves, and then all of a sudden they're at a diner, right? They're at a diner and they're discussing, and it's the aunt, and then the girl that's and the aunt, the Doug, and then another guy, and then the girl that's the babysitter is there, and what
Mm-hmm.
the aunt was then trying to do is trying to find ways to sabotage him, so that she can get his sister, right?
Right.
And so she's coming up with different ways, and then Doug's like, "Hey, I probably shouldn't be here," And he had a good old Matt Pats cameo. It was like, "You guys sure you don't want lunch? It's the best meal of the day." And it's like, everyone's like, "I thought it was breakfast," and he said, "That's just a theory," and everyone goes, "Wow, wow."
You do realize that lunch is the most important meal of the day.
Thought it was breakfast.
Some people say that, but it's just a theory.
He said it. He said it. Wow, he said it. He said the line. He said
the thing.
He said the thing. Oh my God! Wow! Riots in the street, partying up in the theaters, all that stuff. Anyways, oh yeah, and I think it's also been confirmed Markiplier is going to be in the second one.
I have heard.
Yeah. So because he was going to be in the first one, but he's been busy. He was busy working on In Space with Markiplier at the time of filming, and so he couldn't make it back over to do the filming of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's why he wasn't in the first one. So, but they did get like Corey Kenshin and people like that, like other famous people, YouTube famous people that played the games and that were like known for playing the games and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, they're trying to figure things out, and the guy brings up the idea is, "Hey, let's just trash the place." At first they're saying, "Let's kill him, let's do this, let's do that," like way extreme, and then you see Doug slowly realizing that he should not be listening to any of it. Because, and I love it when Steam decides to pop up a little thing in the middle of recording. Thanks, Steam. Anyways, so I get it. You don't have to do it twice. It's like a little troll. Anyways, so he goes. So because I think legally, if like he hears all this stuff, like there's attorney-client privilege, but if he were to be tried or whatever, he has to tell everything about what went down, because he's an accessory to it at that point. Like legally, he's an accessory, which, for them, they get jail time. Not only does he get jail time, but then he's no longer allowed to practice law once he gets out of jail. He gets what's called disbarred. So he's no longer a lawyer. So, anyways, and so they bring up, like, maybe they should just trash the place, blah, 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 blah. And then it cuts to Mike going there the next night. And he goes in and he starts, like, he's chilling. All of a sudden, the cop, Vanessa, pulls up to the place, and she kind of talks to him about it and shows him the animatronics, because at first he heard like the animatronics, they were kind of messing with him a little bit, right? But then he didn't really see them. He all he saw was Bonnie beforehand, and so Vanessa turns on all the lights and hits showtime or whatever, and the animatronics start doing their animatronic thing, right?
Their little dancey dance.
Yeah. Tell your boyfriend I said bless you. I heard that sneeze. Anyways, so they have that. They're doing that, and all of a sudden everything goes haywire and everything shuts down. And so they kind of get to talking, and she's there the entire night, right? And so then they go to leave, and that's when the guy shows up with his friends. And if you want to do you remember that part?
Yeah.
If you want to take it from there.
Yeah, so it was the babysitter's little, like, friend group, I guess. Or, like, people she knew. She was just out waiting in the getaway car, and they were just like, let's go in, trash the place. If you see anything of value, put it in your pocket. And so they just go ham on this place. they're knocking things over. One guy had a crowbar and was like smashing the beautiful pinball machines. They were just chaos, right? And the animatronics can like hear all this, and it cuts to like the security camera, and it kind of shows the animatronics like up on the stage. I think there was like three of them in a row, and the cameras like black out for a second.
A hint to the game. Because in the game, once the animatronic moves, if it moves, the camera freezes up and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the camera comes back on, and one of the animatronics was gone. And so then it's just the animatronics like chasing the burglars, the hoodlums around and murdering them.
The cupcake one was insane.
Oh yeah. The cupcake was like,
just saying,
the cupcake was, yes sir. One of the kids was in the kitchen just like smashing things and knocking them over. And there was like a thump from the fridge, and like some pizza boxes fall off the fridge, and he's like,
Chica
that was
walking by that part too.
Yeah, in the background there.
Yeah.
He goes over to the fridge and opens up one of the doors, and the cupcake's not there, and then he opens up the other one and the cupcake's there with his eyes closed, and then you can see the kid going like, whatever, you know.
There was something
then all of a sudden the eyes open. Yeah. Cupcake's eyes open and just...
Well, there was something in that other door. You not remember?
Wasn't it the, that, like, little statue?
No, it was today's sponsor.
Oh, Dubby!
Make sure you, Robin, add that little thing inside the door opening, and there's just a container of that just chilling in there.
The cupcake was drinking it, you know.
Yeah.
It was just empty cans.
Yeah. You know. Anyways, but yes, today's sponsor, Dummy. Dummy is a gamer energy drink. It comes in tubs, and it's just a powder. Use less than your major brands, 0 sugar, and you have caffeine or non-caffeinated versions of it. But they have t-shirts, hoodies, as you can see from right there. Corporate sponsorship, help me. Oops. Anyways, so you have like all of that, right? And then you also, on top of that, you have they also have like their own drink in a can that you can get. And so on today's episode, if you go to w.gg, and when you go to checkout, use promo code Nightmare Talker. Again, that's w.gg, and use promo code Nightmare Talker to get 10% off your order. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode as you continue, Grace.
Yes.
Not this kind of Grace, but you, Grace.
Yes, after the cupcake had shotgunned all of the energy drinks in the fridge.
Just imagine that. Just so you just see him just shotgunning.
He's like, hold on, be right with you.
Using the
Yoink,
can,
and
just using the candle to pop open the can and just have at it.
He just launches at the kid and basically eats his face.
That's what she said. Or he said.
Nom nom.
It's demonic.
Tasty.
Pac-Man.
That's what she said?
Yes. Cursed Pac-Man.
Yeah, cursed Pac-Man.
Yeah. And that happens. Chica kind of like bows to the cupcake and like it's like, thank you, yes, perfect. And then there was the other one. Yes. Good boy.
Oh, the Bonnie kill, which was memed the hell out of.
Yes.
Get off that computer call. I'm feeling romantical. But, anyways, yeah, that Bonnie kill was actually, again, this is all off screen, and so it was kind of insane for it. And at that time, the ringleader finally figured out, oh, wait, something's not right here.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he also has a bag full of quarters, which is like, dude.
Yeah, they were stealing the coins out of like the claw machines or like whatever games they had. They were just emptying it into this duffel bag.
They took it out of like the token exchanger thing.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, and so he took all the quarters out, and it's like, dude, what are you gonna do if you go to a bank and you just have a bag full of quarters? Do you think no one's gonna ask why?
That's it's an average thing, you know. It happens once a day at least.
You could probably do it at Bank of America. Oh, roasted. Anyways, I used to work for those guys. Fuck those guys. Anyways, well, there goes the swear counter. Don't care. Continue your thingamajigger.
What did he say?
Thingamajiggy.
Nope. Stop talking.
Oh no. Erase the ER on that one. Erase the ER because that sounds bad. It sounds bad. Robin, I
digging.
swear.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
Robin, I swear on everything. If you turn that into something it's not supposed to be, you're fired. Just kidding. I can't fire him. I can't fire him. He's the only editor we have. Anyways, continue.
Okay, well, now that Smiley has dug himself to China,
I'm gonna mute. Go for it.
yeah, the ringleader like found kind of like the security guard room with like where all the monitors are with all the cameras, and he sees one of his what's the goofy phrase I'm thinking of?
Minions.
Whatever. Minions, that's it, yes. One of his minions is like running down the hall and like hides in a closet because he I don't remember if he saw one of the kills or if he was just
he saw the Bonnie kill because he heard his friend screaming in the hallway. And he
and then he went to go check it out.
And then then you just see the
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So he goes in like
description too.
That was pretty spot on, honestly, yeah. Yeah, it's just the bloody handprint on the glass.
As my camera keeps screwing up. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so he sees the Bonnie kill and for good reason books it in the opposite direction and goes and hides in a closet.
He also sees his friend's
and he's like,
face that got mutilated too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a half a second, but you'll see like the face
it's there.
with the teeth marks on it.
Yeah. And he's searching like for the light in the closet and he turns it on and who is behind him but Foxy. And so Foxy gets him.
From my front door here.
Foxy wants some screen time.
He didn't get a lot of screen time in the movie.
No, he didn't, and he looked incredible. Like, they did such a great job.
And the thing is, Foxy's like a fan favorite of all the Five Nights at Freddy's games. He's like the most popular character.
Mm-hmm.
like what was it? One game he wasn't in. Oh, it was Pizzeria Simulator. You didn't have like an attacking Foxy in the game, and people actually got upset about it because every single one of the other games have had a Foxy in the game, some type of version of the Foxy, the regular, Withered, Phantom, Nightmare, and then you had Funtime Foxy. So, yeah.
I think I skipped over the Bonnie kill. If you wanna
Well, I was saying like
describe that one.
So like one of the guys, he runs into a closet because he was doing something. He goes into the So one of the henchmen, minion people, whatever, he sees the guy's body, with the chewed up face, and he runs into the closet thinking, he'll be safe, and he turns on the light inside the closet, and then Bonnie's right there. And so then the ringleader sees that, and he goes to take off, or like he hears the guy scream, and so he runs over there, see what's going on, and he gets there to the point where Bonnie kills the guy, right? And so you see his hand, bloody hand, coming down the wall, mirror window thing, coming down the wall, and and then Bonnie walks out, and so the guy just books it. He doesn't go hide. He just books it. He tries to get out of there, and the whole time that girl, she is there, right? And if she finally gets out of the truck and goes in to see what's taking him so long, and so then Foxy kills the other guy again off screen, and then she shows up and finds finds Freddy just standing in the maintenance room, right? And she hears little kid laughter and things like that. Again, an homage to the games, because sometimes you do hear kid laughter throughout the game. And so, anyway, so she goes in there, and then she hears the kids. This is like are getting closer, you're getting warmer, and then she walks up to the Freddy animatronic, and then a hand pops out, grabs her, pulls her in, and then she gets chomped in half. And it's kind of off screen because you see a shadow of it, and then you hear the half of the body thud onto the ground. And so then I don't know how they got rid of the truck, but they somehow got rid of the truck. I think it was probably Springtrap at that point got there and got rid of the truck. No one really knows.
Plot hole.
But anyways, so then he gets a visit. Mike gets a visit from Vanessa, the cop. And she was like, the place got vandalized, and she finds the sleeping pills there. She finds the sleeping pills and, basically says, look, you got to explain this to me or you're going to get arrested, right? And so he starts talking about his family, and he brings up the time where my PS5 turned off. Anyways, because it sat there too long. Anyways, so he's there. More light. Anyway, so he starts talking, and he brings up that day that his family, like everything changed, right? And the reason why his family's out there is because his mom died, and his dad just couldn't handle it, and he left, right?
Yeah.
And so that all kind of happens, and they go, and then he tells them the day that it happened, like what happened, which they were playing around in the woods up in Nebraska. Next thing you know, he gets taken. The kid gets taken, and the guy who kidnaps his brother drives off, and he's running after his brother, but he can't make it to him in time, right? And so eventually Vanessa's like, okay, look, you got to get there, we got to fix it up or whatever, right? And she throws the bottle of sleeping pills into the river. It cuts to him trying to call the babysitter, who we now know is dead, right? Tries to call the babysitter. She's not picking up, and so he has to take her with him. And so they go, and him and Vanessa start going to clean up the place, after it being vandalized, and bring it back to where it was. And then eventually his sister wakes up, and she walks in, and she starts talking to the animatronics. And again, Mike has no idea that they're alive, right, or
Yeah.
possessed, right? He has no idea. Vanessa knows, but he doesn't. And all of a sudden, him and Vanessa are talking in the security office, and then they hear her kind of screaming out into like the play area, like the main event
The main
area,
room, yeah.
the main room, and run in there, and she's surrounded by the animatronics, and he's just freaking out because it's life-size animatronics, and they're alive, right? And he goes and grabs the chair to go, protect his sister, and then she was just like, hey, he's my brother, he's good, blah blah blah, and they stop, and so then he turns to Vanessa, and then Vanessa tells him what happened in the 80s, that four kids went missing. 4 or 5 kids went missing, and they died, and their spirits possessed the animatronics, right? And so he's just kind of like, oh, cool, all right, so we're gonna go. And so they get in the car, and she's sad. And then he goes and he talks to Vanessa about the whole thing, right? And the thing is, though, she starts freaking out, starts yelling at him, saying, hey, don't ever bring her around here again, or I will arrest you, which is like a night and day difference how it was before, like inside the pizzeria. She was super chill. All of a sudden, she goes crazy. And it cuts to kind of during the day a little bit, kind of looking into the stuff about the pizzeria, and then it goes back to night. And then they are all there hanging out, and you kind of want to take it over from there.
Yeah, the little sister was like, she called them her friends because she's 8 or 9, maybe.
A child.
Less. And so she's excited to see them again.
We're back. Sorry, we're dealing with some technical difficulties.
Technology these days.
Yeah. Technology these days, they just don't work as good as they used to, Back in my day, we didn't
They don't make them like they used to.
Back in my day, we didn't have this gosh darn fandangle podcast and things like that. People had honest jobs working on the radio and telling these gosh darn stories. We don't want to play no video game about murdered children and things like that. No, you guys are too busy playing with Ouija boards.
In the middle of the cemetery at 1 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Anyways.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, so that's the next day. They're back at the pizzeria, and she goes to build a fort with the animatronics. And so they're building the thing, and they finally build it. One of the funniest scenes in that movie is like Bonnie falling over. I don't know if you remember that.
Just falling backwards.
Falls over, and then you just see him go.
Yeah, she goes, "Are you okay?" And he just goes.
Yeah, basically. So they get the fort done. They had made it bigger because they needed to fit the animatronics in there, right? And then she's like, "Oh, it's gonna rain," and so Mike and Vanessa go get some like tablecloths.
Tablecloths, I think, yeah.
And he sees a doll-looking animatronic again. That's a reference to the books because that's one of the that's one of the Springlock suits that kills one of the kids in the books. And so he sees that, and he goes to touch it, and she's like, "No, don't touch it," because they're very volatile, pieces of machinery. Because the Springlock suit, for people who are not fans of the franchise or don't know the franchise, a Springlock suit, what that is it's an animatronic normally, but then they can extend out, and then a person could wear it and walk around in the suit, but they were very faulty. You couldn't move too fast. You couldn't get wet. All that stuff, because any slight difference, they would lock in and kill the wearer, because it would go back into animatronic form. And so, like in the game, that's why Springtrap looks the way he does, with like some human resemblance in there. Is because that's how he died. He got locked inside a spring lock suit. William Afton got locked up in a spring lock suit, and that's how he died in the games. He didn't really die. He possessed the Springtrap suit, but that's a whole nother thing. That the people in that franchise never die. It's really what it is. Because I think you see him again in Security Breach as Burn Trap. Now it's not a canon thing, but he's still there, and he's also in the VR games. He's Glitch Trap, and so there's like a piece of his consciousness that was uploaded into like a virus of some sort, and then he slowly starts taking over people's minds while doing that, so that he can kind of just spread his evilness across. It's like his by the time Security Breach came out, he is actually dead. Like, he's in hell being tortured by the one he should not have killed. The Ultimate Custom Night, that's his purgatory, that's his hell. Like, he gets attacked by every single animatronic that you got attacked by in the franchise. Up to that point. And so that's the spring lock suit. And so Vanessa goes in there and she's like, "Hey, don't touch that, it's a spring lock suit," and tells him what happens. And then she goes and gets a broom handle and then sticks it in there, and it locks in and snaps the broom handle and stuff like that. And Mike obviously freaks out, because it's like, what if my sister came in here and saw that, got in contact with it, now I'm purple, got in contact with it, and got killed by this thing, right? And Vanessa's like, "Oh, we wouldn't let that happen, Gene, blah, 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 blah." And so eventually they go and take the tarps and put it over the fort. And so Mike has another dream, and he's still trying to figure out who did what. Okay, yeah, no, so I messed up. There's that fucking shit, fuck, damn it.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Add that to the smiley swear counter and add it to the wrong counter. Anyways, that's when she gets in an argument with Mike after that night. Telling her that she doesn't need to be there anymore, she needs to leave, never bring her back. And so then he was concerned what Vanessa said, and so Mike got concerned, and so Mike actually signed the rights over to his aunt, because he couldn't work that job. He didn't have anyone to watch her, and he has to work overnight, and he just couldn't handle it anymore, which is a very sad scene, speaking from like personal experience, because I don't know if I told you I was adopted at 10 years old.
No.
Yeah, so good old Smiley the Clown was adopted at 10 years old. And then I remember, now I'm grateful for it now, but back when I was a kid, I didn't understand. I got removed from a very abusive household, but again, as a child, had no idea about it. Trauma dumping. You see the trauma coming out of the bag?
It's piling up there on the floor, yep.
Anyways, so, yeah. And so that was my household, and so I didn't understand, like, when we got taken out of it, forever. And because at first I thought, didn't love me and blah, 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 blah. And obviously it turned out to where I am now. It's a crazy dude doing a podcast about horror movies with another crazy person over to my right or left, whatever the screen shows.
I'm on your left.
On your left. There's another lawsuit from Marvel. That's another lawsuit from Marvel right there. Anyways, and so, so he signs the rights over to the aunt, because he can't you can't anymore with the job, and then like he has very limited options with his jobs and things like that. And so he goes back for a fourth night at the place, and it's kind of a casual night. The animatronics don't really do anything, and he goes to sleep, and he watches the whole thing unfold again, and then he meets one of the kids that were killed there, and he goes and asks them like, do you know who it is? Blah 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 blah, and then the kid was like, look, this is what you need to do, and you'll be able to have your family back again, right? And like the little brother is saying, just do it, Mike, blah blah blah, and the mom is saying it, the dad's saying it, and eventually Mike says yes, he'll do it, and he's like, I'll do whatever, and he was like, we want her, we want your sister, and he says yes, right? Because he's trying to figure out what happened to his little brother, and so I've just realized you can see my Christmas bulbs in the corner there. Sorry for technical difficulties again. Technology is just so fun to deal with.
It's been a day, yeah.
Yeah. I just got this thing from my friend. She said that I think leprechauns are just Santa's elves who got fired from the workshop for drinking on the job.
I support that.
Because I think St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, right? Or do we already pass it?
No, it's on the 17th.
Oh, there
next
you go.
week. Pie Day is tomorrow.
The fuck
Go
is
eat some pie.
Pie Day?
3.14?
Oh.
Oh, it's a math nerd holiday.
Got it. And there's another swear counter. I just realized I dropped the F-bomb. So, anyways, back to the movie. Anyways, so he goes there, and so it cuts back to, like, he tells them to give up his sister, and so it cuts to the aunt's house, and then all of a sudden Golden Freddy shows up there, and it was like, hey, you need to come with us, we're gonna have so much fun, we're gonna take you back to the pizzeria, blah 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 blah. And so after that, though, Mike rejects the offer, and he gets captured into the Freddy chair and working on escaping, and while this time he's like, his sister's getting that, and so then we don't know for sure if Golden Freddy killed the aunt or just knocked her out, but you see just her legs.
Yeah.
So you have no idea.
She's like laying on the floor.
Yeah, so you have no idea if she got killed or not, right? And so he goes from that, and then they go into a taxi, and that's Corey Kenshin right there in the taxi. And Golden Freddy goes in there, and I think one of the lines is like, why do I always get the weird ones?
Well, I always get the weirdos, yeah.
Because I think he said that in like one of his streams or whatever. But anyways, again, they did phenomenal with the casting and things like that. They did try to say, like I said, they pulled from every source of Five Nights at Freddy's that they could. So that's why I think a lot of people got upset it wasn't exactly like the game itself.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the game, like the first game, doesn't really have any stories.
There's not much to it.
There's not much to it, and that's the point, It's a simplified horror game. Anyways, so eventually Mike gets out because he rejects the offer later after he, tells him that. Mike gets out, calls Vanessa, and like he's at the police station, and Vanessa is treating his wounds because he's gotten pretty beaten up by the animatronics. So then they both get in there, and she gives him a stun gun because she says she can't go in. She can't go in because that's when you find out that her dad is the one who murdered those kids. And she's basically been like the watch of the place, seeing if new people were going to show up, things like that. And so Mike gets there, and it's one of the funniest scenes because he goes through the vents, right? And he comes out, and you see Bonnie doing this while Freddy's singing. You see, I don't know if you remember that, but he's like pointing over, and it's because Bonnie sees Mike, and he's telling Freddy to turn around. He's telling Freddy, "Hey, over there, you know." So eventually, Freddy turns around, just goes nothing. So, anyways, so he gets over there, and I kind of forget. I think Vanessa goes and saves his sister from Chica because they were about to put her in the Springlock suit that was down there. They were going to put her in the doll Springlock suit, and so then eventually they get out, and he like tasers both of them to kind of overload the system, and so the sister takes off, and she's running around hiding, and he's trying to like fight off the characters and things like that. And then eventually she goes and hides in a ball pit, and all of a sudden eerie music starts to play, and then you see someone walking out, and it's Springtrap, the golden rabbit, and it turns out that he tricked the kids into thinking he was their friend. And so because the kids don't know that he was the one that murdered them. And so they're working for him, and he just beats the crap out of Mike, just wails on him. And Mike figures out it's a person there because he tries to taser it, and the suit doesn't do anything. It just keeps going. And so all that back and forth, and then Vanessa shows up and shoots Springtrap, and then eventually Springtrap takes off his helmet, and you see it's the recruiter. It was the recruiter from the beginning, and he was using a fake name. It was really William Afton that was him. You know, shock and surprise. You know, the big reveal. Anyways, and so eventually Mike's sitting there, and then he remembers something because it was either that principal, counselor, whatever. That's how children see the world and communicate through the world through pictures. And so then his sister pulls down a thing, draws the picture of the rabbit attacking the kids. And during this time, Vanessa and William are having a confrontation. William stabs his own daughter. Right? And so then eventually she goes and hangs it up on the wall. His sister hangs up the picture on the wall showing the rabbit killing them. And so then the cupcake, good old little murder puppet cupcake dog thing, hops off and hits one of the, like on around his, like the stomach area, hits one of the springs, and it activated the suit. And the thing with like spring lock suits, they did it quickly in the game, but also like in the lore and stuff like that, it's a very slow process. Because it's the animatronic slowly building out, and so it goes from the middle, and so it starts to like lock in everywhere. That's why his body's like contorting all those directions. It's because of the fact that those are like, it's kicking in the robot part of the suit, and everything's getting locked in. And there's the roommate. What's up? Yes. Anyway, so all the suit gets like locking in and things like that, and eventually he puts on the helmet and says the infamous line, "I'll always come back." Puts it on, and then he essentially dies. He starts to kind of get more and more locked up. Yes, being in the living room is a high trafficked area. Anyway, so then Foxy goes and takes him, and they drag him into the back office, where they leave him there to die. And so then it kind of ends in like, you know, a little happy sunshining thing, because the pizzeria itself starts to collapse under itself because the curse was lifted, basically, there. And so the pizzeria starts to demolish, and then it cuts to the next day. Mike goes to the school, and like the teacher is just like, she's done several improvements. You see her, she's hanging out with kids, like hanging out with friends, things like that, right? And so eventually, and then Mike shows up to the to the hospital where Vanessa's at, and Vanessa's there, and he's like, I forgive you, and I'll be here when you wake up, things like that. And then they kind of talk about what they're doing for dinner, and they kind of just fades, they're at the house, and it fades away after they discuss maybe going to see the animatronics again, and so then it cuts away, and then you have the end credits. And one of the coolest things they added, that Easter egg, was like the robot speaking voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. And I think it was like, come to me, I think it was, or it wasn't it's me, it was something like come here or something like that. It was a hint towards the
something
second,
like that, yeah.
It was a hint towards the second movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people were saying it was the puppet that was making that noise. And then you have a post-credit scene where Corey Kitchen is chilling inside his car, and he turns around, and there's Balloon Boy in his car. And they made a joke about Balloon Boy just popping up. So anyways, but yeah, that's good old Five Nights at Freddy's. So what did you like about it? What you didn't like about it? And rate it out of stabs.
I thought they did a fabulous job with how much they pulled from every bit that they could. It's like a couple plot holes, like you mentioned it earlier, like the truck after the hoodlums like break into Freddy's, like what happened to the truck. There was some minor plot holes like that, but overall I thought they did a good job. I'd give it 4 stabs out of 5.
4 stabs out of 5. There you go. Anyways, yeah. For me, I think I liked it. It was a really good movie. Again, not a lot of horror movies don't need to be a lot of really gory and things like that. And so it was a really good movie. A lot better than the last one we talked about.
Yeah.
So, anyways, for me, I would still give it a 3.5 out of 5 stabs, because there could have been more to it. Right? I feel like there could have been more lore implications they could have added in there.
Yeah.
And so, because there was they know why the guy hired Mike Schmidt is because the person who kidnapped Mike's younger brother was William Afton. That was William Afton that kidnapped Mike's younger brother. And so, anyways, there could have been a lot more lore implications. But other than that, I think it was a good movie. There was lots of passion behind it. Scott Coffin was there to make sure everything went down smoothly, all that fun jazz. So, anyways, yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy's. But also remember to make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And yeah, and we will get to you to the next time. Grace, you want to say anything to these fine people before we go?
It's a great movie. I would highly recommend watching it, especially if you like the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. They did well with it.
There you go.
And yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, be spooky.
Be spooky.